Exercise 10-28 is prepare a cash budget. So preparing cash budgets is really important for corporations because cash is super important. So if we don't manage our cash properly and we're unable to pay people or purchase more inventory, that can run a business into the ground. So the cliche cash is king is really rings true for most organizations. You need to have cash to have your business function. So cash budgeting is a big part of that. So we have Pink Martini Corporation is projecting a cash budget of $30,000 in its December 31st balance sheet. Pink Martini's schedule of expected collections from customer for the first quarter of 2016 shows total collections of 180. The expected payments for direct materials is 441. Other information is sale of equipment 3,000, direct labor 70, manufacturing overhead 35, selling and admin expenses 45, and purchase of securities of 14,000. And they want to maintain a balance of at least 25,000 at the end of each quarter. So we need to prepare a cash budget for the first quarter. So what we want to do is start with our opening cash balance. So what was our cash available at the end of the last quarter? So it tells us that our cash balance on our balance sheet at December 31st was 30,000. So that's our beginning balance. Our ending balance from the prior period is our opening balance for the current. So we have $30,000 before we start the quarter. Now we want to separate our cash inflows, our cash receipts, what cash do we expect to come into the business, and then our cash outflows, what we expect to leave the business or disbursements. So what bills do we have to pay? So the first is collection from customers. So our expected collection from customers is $180,000. So we expect to collect from our customers $180,000 in cash. Also in our additional information, it talks about a sale of equipment. If we sell a piece of equipment, that is cash coming in to the organization. So we expect our cash inflow from the sale of equipment to be $3,000. The rest were outflows or expenses. So our total receipts for the year are 183. So sorry, for the quarter. So we expect to collect from customers and from our sale of equipment to have total cash inflows for the quarter or cash receipts of $183,000 plus our opening cash of 30 gives us $213,000 of available cash before we pay any cash out. But as we know, when we operate a business, there is cash outflows or expenses we have to pay. In this case, it tells us that our direct materials for the period for the quarter are going to be $41,000. We also have direct labor that we have to pay, so that's wages, of $70,000. We have overhead to manufacture our product of $35,000. We have selling and admin that we expect to be $45,000, and then we buy securities. So securities are investments, so it could be bonds or shares in other organizations. So this is we're buying securities for $14,000, which gives us total cash outflows of $205,000 for the quarter. So we expect to collect from customers in the sale of equipment 183 plus our opening balance to get we have a total available cash of 213. That's the 30 opening plus what we collect in the quarter, less how much cash outflows we expect to have for the quarter, which is 205,000, which gives us 8,000 of cash receipts over cash disbursements. So our cash inflows are going to exceed our outflows by $8,000. All right? And that's including our opening balance, so what we have on hand. So we'd be positive of cash receipts. However, the policy of the organization is always to maintain a balance of $25,000 per year or per quarter. So in order to have an ending cash balance of $25,000, the company is going to have to borrow $17,000. They're not repaying anything. There was nothing in the question, which gives us the ending balance of $25,000. So if we need to maintain $25,000 of cash, or our ending balance, we would need to borrow 17,000 because we anticipate to only have 8,000 of excess cash receipts over cash disbursements for the quarter. And this is what we mean by planning our cash budget. So we see, ooh, if we want to keep that $25,000 in ending balance at the end of the quarter, we're going to have to borrow money to maintain that, because right now we're too close. Our cash we have, less our disbursements, is too close. And if we look, we see right now this company, their total receipts, their inflows from the month are only 183,000 and their outflows are 205. So actually, without that $30,000 beginning balance, their outflows are more than their inflows. So that on a long term, if that's continue over quarter, they're going to get themselves into trouble and having to borrow more and more money. So this is why we budget, to see, okay, what if this is going to happen for multiple quarters, what do we need to change so our cash inflows are more than our cash outflows? Because that's really the goal.